Hi, I'm Mayor Sandra Berry, and we're in my mayor's office in downtown Oak Lawn. I'm here today to talk with our Congressman, Congressman Dan Lipinski. Welcome to Oak Lawn, Congressman. It's wonderful to have you here today. We're going to talk a little bit about you, a little bit about what you're doing, and what the future holds. So, welcome.
Thank you.
So you are a congressman of the 3rd Congressional District. How big is that district?
Well, the district has 812,000 people.
Wow.
And it stretches from roughly the northeast corner is U.S. Cellular Field, where White Sox play. It stretches southwest from there through the city of Chicago, through southwest suburbs, through Oak Lawn, all the way down to a piece of Joliet. So it covers a good area here in the
huge area.
Chicagoland region.
And Oak Lawn's right in the middle there.
Yes, it is.
Okay. How long have you been Congressman?
I'm in my 5th term, so
Wow.
This is the 10th year.
Yeah. How hard is it to be here all the time, be in Washington all the time? How do you split your time?
Well, I actually counted it up recently, and I spend about 2/3 of the time, well, at least 2/3 of the nights I get to sleep here in my home in the district, about 1/3 of the time in D.C. Usually a work week in Washington will run for 4 days, either Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday, so I'm there 3 nights a week.
Wow.
But I'm always home on the weekends.
Well, Congressman, whenever we have anything going on in Oak Lawn, it always seems like you find time to be here, and I appreciate that, especially hearing how much traveling you're doing. I don't know if residents know what a sacrifice that is to your family. I want to thank you for that. So you've been working on this 5-point jobs plan. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, we all know that since the Great Recession, there's been a real need for more jobs and greater job creation. And even though they say we've officially been out of the recession for a couple years, we all know that we're not feeling that.
Illinois is lagging behind a little bit.
Yeah, Illinois is certainly lagging behind. And even people who are getting jobs now, who lost their jobs before, their new job may not be paying as much. We just don't see the economy that we used to have. And certainly things could be much better. So I put out this 5-point jobs plan.
Transportation infrastructure, tell me about that. So that's helping with the jobs. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing with that.
Well, everyone knows that we have a great need for better transportation. Chicagoland has one of the highest congestion rates of anywhere in the country, either first or second, according to a lot of different studies. We all know that. We live through that. So getting more funding to fix the roads, build more roads, but also for public transportation. That's also critical. And in doing that, we put people at work with the construction, but we also make not just traveling to work, to school, wherever we're going, church to the store. We not only make that easier, but we also make our economy more efficient. Goods need to travel some way to get to the stores or get to our homes, and that also helps make the economy more efficient, puts people to work.
Very good. And then you're working to strengthen our manufacturing. Can you tell me what you're doing with that?
Well, manufacturing is really taken a hard hit over the last couple of decades. We all know that. I grew up on the southwest side of Chicago, and there used to be a lot more people who had good middle-class jobs in manufacturing. We still have manufacturers remaining. We still have some good companies here, but more needs to be done to help promote American manufacturing, especially competing against the Chinese and other low-wage countries.
Yeah.
And so I have a bill that would require the federal government to, every 4 years, put together a committee, both people from the public sector and the private sector, to make recommendations for how to promote American manufacturing. I think that could go a long way to really getting government focused on what can we do to help American manufacturers and put Americans to work in manufacturing.
Very good, very good. What about fair trade? How are you working to enforce fair trade?
Well, we all know that, first of all, it's hard to find things when we go to the store that are made in USA.
You have to look. You really have to look.
It's very hard. And part of that is with manufacturing, promoting manufacturing, but it's also, we have to make sure that China and other countries are playing by the rules that are out there. We have trade rules that the Chinese government especially continues to cheat on, and I think the federal government, the United States, has not done enough to stand up for American workers and say, wait, you cannot do these things. Stealing intellectual property, that is, Chinese company will come over here and figure out how to make an American product.
Reverse engineer things, yeah.
Exactly. And so that's a problem. They also hold the value of their currency low, so that it's expensive for us to buy anything made in China, and it's cheaper for the Chinese to buy something made in the U.S. Or the other way around. Sorry,
yeah, that's okay.
It just makes it more difficult for American companies to
compete,
to sell their goods
to
China, and it makes it tougher to compete.
Because let's say we want to sell widgets to Canada, and China wants to sell their widgets to Canada too. China is the unfair advantage sometimes, or they just kind of work around things. Yeah, so thank you for fighting for our workers that way. Very good. Now tell me about the innovation, investing in innovation. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we have some of the best research universities in the country.
Yeah.
We have national labs like Argonne National Lab here in the area. We have a lot of very smart people who are doing some great research, creating good products, but we need to do more to help turn this research into new products, new services, and those new products have to be made here in America. So if we invest in innovation, first of all, the more innovation we have going on here, the more likely we are to have American-made products putting people to work. We need to do more of that. Recently, the federal government, early this year, announced $75 million grant to a manufacturing center in Chicago.
I heard about that.
To help promote digital manufacturing.
Yeah.
This has been met with $250 million from the private sector to come together and find better ways to manufacture products and develop more innovation here in the United States, and which will help grow jobs.
My only complaint with that, Congressman, is they didn't locate in Oak Lawn, but the next one will be.
Next one.
Okay, very good. And tell me what you're doing for education and job training, working to improve those things for our residents.
Well, as you know, I was teaching before I ran for Congress.
Now, what were you teaching?
I was teaching political science, American government.
Where at?
I taught at Notre Dame in the University of Tennessee.
Wow, very good.
So I know how important education is for the future, for each individual and for our country to have a good educational system. I also know that job training is very important, especially people lose their jobs, getting retrained for another job, or just coming out of school and need training to really get started in a profession. And I hear all the time from companies that, especially manufacturers, they can't find people who have the skills needed to step right into a job. So one of the things, and Congress hasn't gotten a lot done in the last couple of years. Unfortunately, there's too much partisanship, too much fighting.
We've got to get past that.
And that's something I always work to do, is bring people together to try to get things done. But one thing we did get done is pass a new job training bill. That we took 18 different federal programs that were designed to help train people for jobs and condensed that down. Got rid of 15 of those programs and streamlined it so that we could do a better job and a more efficient job of training people for the jobs of today and the future. So we've made some progress on that. We need to do more.
Yes. Yes, education is a big deal. So that's your 5-point program. So transportation, build that up, build up our infrastructure, strengthen our manufacturing, enforce fair trade, innovation and education. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. So. You're a big supporter of small business, Congressman. I heard that you were just named Legislator of the Year by the International Franchise Association. Tell me what you're doing to support small business. You know I'm crazy about Shop Oak Lawn and small business. I'm a nut, but I really believe in this as well. Tell me what you're doing with this.
Well, small business, first of all, creates 2/3 of the jobs in our country today. And we need to do more to help promote small business. One issue that was brought to me, and I knew was a problem with Obamacare from the beginning, was that it defined a full-time work is 30 hours, rather than 40 hours that was always known. A full-time, work week is 40 hours a week. So that was causing problems in a lot of different sectors, especially in service industries, for restaurants and others. And I introduced a bill to change the definition from 30 hours to 40 hours. It not only hurts the businesses, but it hurts the workers who like to have that flexible work time. Right. What we saw was companies cutting down people's hours of work to get under that 30 hours. So that's one thing that I had done. But I know that one of the things that's important to you as a mayor is the Marketplace Fairness Act.
Yes, you're right, and your staff are wonderful. They when it was going for, I think, a reading, they really worked hard to get our voice heard at that, and you as well, Congressman, are a big supporter of that. And tell me what that is.
Well, right now, if you buy a product online, unless there's a brick and mortar store that is in your state, you don't have to pay any sales tax on that. Which I mean, no one wants to pay sales tax. I understand that. Right.
But every dollar you spend in your community means that your property taxes and other services, are going to have that support. So if no one is spending any money in town, everyone goes to their local stores where they're paying rent, paying property taxes, paying staff to open those stores and man those stores, and you shop, write the model number down, go order it online. That business can't compete with someone with no overhead and that type of advantage. So all small business asks for is a level playing field, just like international business. And Congressman, I'm so happy you see that. And it's a little controversial. No one wants to pay more taxes, but no one wants to see their tax go up. And I know the budget we face here is very tight. If that went into effect, we would have a much easier situation and not be facing the cuts we are. So thank you for your support of small business in general. Congressman, whenever I see you, you are always supportive of veterans. At your town hall meeting recently, you gave a medal to a veteran who hadn't received them. And this wasn't someone just out of service. This was someone who was in World War II and had never received those medals. So you're a strong advocate for both our veterans and our seniors. Is there anything you want to tell me about that?
Well, I think it's important that we do all we can for our veterans. We can never truly repay them for what they have given us and provided for us. And so I do everything that I can to help out the veterans in the district, help them out personally if they have an issue with veterans benefits, or as you mentioned, if they've earned medals and didn't receive them, to make sure that they do get those medals. But also everyone knows about the awful VA scandal.
Now, I wonder, I heard about that, and I was wondering how you felt about that, and did you act on that? What happened?
Well, it was really disgraceful what was going on at the VA, that they were hiding the fact that they were not getting veterans in time to see doctors. There were long waiting lists. They
substandard care.
They cooked the books to make it look like veterans were getting the treatment they deserved, and they were really getting, it was just a disgrace what was being done. And so I had a meeting with Senator Mark Kirk. I invited veterans locally to come in and talk about issues that they may have had. We worked on it through that, and in Washington, we were able to get passed a bill that reforms the Veterans Administration.
Excellent.
And it made sure that veterans did not have to wait. If they could not get into debt health care from the VA, that they can then go outside the VA to get their health care through some private hospital, private doctor, just to make sure that they were getting care in time and get the treatment that they deserve.
That's wonderful. So if there are no appointments available and they have a problem, they don't have to wait or feel they have to wait. That's fantastic. What peace of mind for them. And every American can be proud of that. Thank you very much for that. You're a big supporter of seniors as well. I know everywhere, our senior fairs, you have job fairs also for veterans. You're really out there in the community. Anything you want to say about seniors? And I know you help them get their benefits. I've heard of residents who contact your office are having trouble, for example, with benefits. And you're, again, wonderful staff and team go to bat for them. So
well, it's very important, as I mentioned, with helping out veterans. I have someone on my staff who is assigned that role of helping out veterans. Also, someone on my staff who specifically helps out seniors with issues like Social Security and Medicare. But I know how important it is. Our seniors, they built this country. We have to make sure, first of all, that Social Security and Medicare are strengthened so that they are there for the long run. And individual seniors who are having issues can always come into my office, and we can do everything we can to help them out.
It is extremely confusing. Anyone who's ever called a government office, it's very confusing to know what to do, where you stand. You have these forms you've never seen. If anyone has questions, the congressman is serious when he says their staff can help you with those. So don't feel that you just have to be confused. They're a really wonderful resource. And they're right in town here. Congressman, you have an office just across the street from where we are. You're at 5309 West 95th Street in Oak Lawn. And you do have several offices throughout your district as well. I think you have 4 or 5 offices.
I have 4 offices, one in Chicago, one in Orland Park, one in Lockport, and then one here in
downtown Oak Lawn.
That's right. I mean, Oak Lawn is not only the heart of the district. Besides Chicago, there are more people. It's the biggest municipality in my district.
Okay, very good. And I didn't ask earlier what committees you serve on, Congressman.
I'm on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee.
Very helpful for us.
And also on the Science, Space, and Technology Committee.
Wow, very good, very good. And you're an engineer, you're a trained engineer. I didn't know that either. So I think that's all I wanted to talk about, Congressman. I'm going to open the floor to you if there's anything you wanted to add.
Well, I just want to thank you, Mayor, for the work that you're doing here in Oak Lawn. And it's very important that we work together, local level, state level, federal level, to get things done for our constituents. I think that's very important that we work together on issues. And I also know it's a difficult, it's a very difficult job on the local level, especially these days. And so I appreciate the work that you do, and I just want to make sure that people understand that I understand that my role is not just to cast votes in Washington, but to care for my constituents with anything that they need, any way I can help them. I just want to make sure that they know my door is always open to them, and I think that's very important. That I think some members of Congress don't really truly understand that, but I know my job as a representative is to do everything that I can for my constituents.
And I have to say, anytime we have a concern with the village, you're right on it, and I appreciate that very much. And so with that, I'd like to thank our residents for watching, and have a wonderful day.